Okay, what are we looking at here? Are we looking at a huge problem, or can I peel this off? Today I'm going to take a crack at Julia Child's seemingly intense meringue layer cake. I've read the recipe, I'm still following through with this one. Welcome back to Jamie and Julia.
Oh! Bon appetit.
So I'm in this cookbook today, volume 2 of Mastering the Art of French Cooking, the complicated younger sibling to volume 1. Yeah, this one kind of frightens me, but I always go back for a little bit of a spook. So I find this, and it's shaped like a heart, and I'm thinking, you know, Valentine's Day. Any chance I get to capitalize on some sort of holiday, I'll take it. Now it's got 3 names here in French: le succès, le progrès, the success, the progress, la dacquoise, which I believe is the actual name for this type of dessert. It's a meringue-nut layer cake with buttercream frosting and filling. This particularly delicious type of French cake rarely appears among American recipes, yet it is far easier to make than a layer cake and infinitely more elegant. Light yet rich, every mouthful is a poem. Whew. Then she just keeps going, 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 gone. Now, upon looking at the recipe, you will realize that the heart shape is not mandatory. You can make it into like a circle, you can trace the outline of like a pot lid or whatever, but no. The only reason I decided to make this was because of the heart. So it's got to be around 8 inches, and yeah, the creative chops are going to be on display today. It's good, but it could be better. I'm going to make it just a slightly bigger. Before baking mats, before parchment paper, Julia has this kind of like dated method of prepping a pan and getting the heart shape, you know, traced in like flour or something. Immediately when I read that, I was like, you know, I have my own idea for how to do this. Fold that, and then we need 2 more of those. So I have the silicone baking mat right here. Never really use these things. I should use them more often. So 1 heart, 1 heart. It would be great if you could fit all 3. I hope that is enough space between each heart, but Jules says that the meringue doesn't spread in the oven, so I think I can get away with that. That was my plan. How's it going? I think we're off to a good start. Now we have to do everything. 6 ounces, 1.5 cups worth of almond flour onto wax paper. This is 1 cup of very fine sugar. I'm using caster sugar. Am I supposed to be doing this? Measure the almonds and the sugar onto wax paper, yes. Work with your fingers to remove any lumps. Sieve me. It's a little sieve. Interesting. So sieve over 1 level tablespoon of cornstarch. Also an additional 1.5 teaspoons. And then she wants me to mix it with a rubber spatula. Oven's on. I got Charles today that's gonna help me out with that. Okay. All right, fantastic. I feel like you could have just done that in the bowl the whole time, but what do I know? All right, that takes care of all the preliminaries. I gotta go fetch a friend. It's the Silver Fox. First appearance of 2023. Feels good. It has been a while, hasn't it, my friend? You're doing well? Good, good. The egg white's from 6 eggs. It's around 1/2 cup worth. We gotta make some stiff peaks. We gotta make some really nice ones because we're making a meringue, and that's what it's all about right there. Start on a slow speed, work my way up until I've got around the foamy stage. You gotta add a bunch of things, then I gotta turn it up to high speed until we've reached, and we go. Let's rock this thing. Too fast. Alpha, Delta, Bravo, can you hear me? I'm gonna add in a 1/4 teaspoon of cream of tartar and 1/8 teaspoon of salt. This is at the foamy stage, PS. Get in there. Gradually increase the speed. As soon as I reach those soft peaks, 3 tablespoons of sugar. Let's go up to fast speed for the final sprint. Stiff peaks. So this is 1/8 teaspoon of almond extract, 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla extract. Did I screw anything up? Probably. If you're using the stand mixer, remove the bowl from the stand. The rest of the operation continues rapidly by hand. So bring over the almond sugar starch mixture. So I need to fold in, firstly, around 1/4 cup worth of this, just to get the ball rolling. Chuck, you up for it? Yeah. Just like fold and rotate, but deflate the egg whites as little as possible. And reaching all the way to the bottom. Rotate. Keep doing it until it's all gone. Rapidly folding, but like gently, and like rotating the bowl and not deflate. Slowly. Be gentle, but go rapidly. So that's what you gotta do, right? All of this? I'm supposed to be adding all of this, right? Wow. Blend it all together until it is all used. Wow. 3/8 of an inch in diameter. Gently get that in the piping bag, very gently. The thing that has me on edge is that I've already cut the tip off this piping bag for some idiotic reason. So yeah, just keep that in mind when you take it out of this thing. Don't ever do that again, by the way. You got yourself into it. So the width of your thumb and 1/2 inch high, squeeze out the meringue all around the sides of your lined marked hearts. Continue around until you have filled the entire space with meringue. That looks more like a heart. Smooth out the top of the meringue lightly with a spatula, immediately making the other two shapes in the same manner. Oh, well, I already did. This one's a bit thinner than the rest. Come on, bring some of that over there. You can share. Smooth it out. Stop, stop. Jamie, stop. I need to do a little reconstructive surgery with this one just to make it look a little more like a heart. How's that look? I can't really tell. Oh, yikes. So, I mean, considering it's me doing this, I think this looks pretty good. Into the preheated oven for 40 minutes. The meringues are actually to dry out, not to bake. They're not to puff up, they're not to change shape, but they will color lightly during baking. "40 minutes later, be more gentle than you usually are. They are done as soon as you can gently push them loose from the baking surface. Oh. I thought that that would just happen naturally. Don't do this to me, come on. I thought this was a foolproof idea. Now I can't get them off. If I just let them cool here, do you think they will just kind of, you know, I don't know. Son of a bitch. At the very least, why don't we get them off the pan? Maybe a fillet knife will do the trick. How stupid is this idea? Can't be that stupid. Okay, what are we looking at here? Are we looking at a huge problem, or can I peel this off? They are done as soon as you can gently push them loose from the baking surface. So maybe they weren't done. I have a feeling they need to go in longer. It's been 40 minutes, but you never know these days, do you? The problem with these things right here is they're too soft in the center, which leads me to believe that they're not dried out all the way through. They're not baked all the way through, where it's easily peelable on the edges because they're harder. Having them out of the oven for a little bit, they still haven't firmed up there. So what I'm thinking is this, call me crazy, call me anything, I don't care. I was also looking at recipes online and people that were making kind of similar type things. They had these in the oven for over an hour, almost 2 hours, where Julia was only like 40 to 50 minutes. So what if I just kind of split the difference? So this has now been in the oven for a total of an hour and a half. Firmed up nicely in the center. It's kind of turned color a bit. I like it. This feels so much better this way. So sorry, Julia, but I had to take my own car home. Let's let that cool like that, and hopefully we'll be able to peel it right off. Felt like I underbaked it in the center originally. You can see it was coming apart. That's why you couldn't get it off. You know, we're covering it all up with filling. It's gonna be fine. As long as I come off the baking mat, I'm completely fine with whatever outcome I get. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, I'll take it. Come on. I think it's free. That's the nicest one too. Look at that. And what did we learn? Don't always trust the book. Now, a lot of the time with these Julia recipes, she has me over baking things because, well, her times are just kind of, well, out of date, especially with my oven. This time around, she had me underdo it. You know, there's always someone out there, there's gonna be someone, one of you that says, you know, you didn't follow the book correctly. That Julia intended for you to like turn the oven off completely, crack the door open just a smidge and let these guys come down to room temperature after 40 minutes of baking. Fine. Someone will also say, you know, you take it out of the oven and you just leave it on the baking sheet for a couple hours till it comes down or something like that. There'll be someone. If she had told me to do that, I would have followed along to it with a smile on my face. But she had no mention of that. So where's the problem lie? I don't know. I'm not pointing fingers. I love Julia. I just don't want to always take the blame, you know? You fill a saucepan with water and get that to a boil. This is 1.5 cups of raw almonds into boiling hot water. 1 minute. I drain them and rinse them with cold water. There they are. How hot is this? Not that bad. So we just squeeze and it pops out of the skin. Easy peasy, off it goes. Headed to a new life. Quickly dry them off. Into the oven, 350F for 10 to 15. Don't forget to toss them. Okay, those almonds are roasted. Bowl me. Thank you. For those who are still watching, what I need to do is add in a 1/4 cup of sugar. This right here is 1.5 tablespoons of water. So once that goes from cloudy to perfectly clear, boil for a couple minutes until the bubbles are heavy and thick. Boiling and swirling until it turns a caramel brown color. 1/2 cup of almonds. Immediately turn off the heat. Swirl them around. Oh dear, get the snowman. Immediately turn onto an oiled pan. Not oiled. Onto an oiled pan. Leave these to cool and hard for 20 minutes. 20 minutes later, Praline has entered the chat. Give it a head start. So this praline is being added into what's going to be the filling. It needs to be ground up into something, I'm assuming fairly fine, like a flour. It doesn't really specify, but I can only imagine. I'm using my imagination. And this is going to be really loud. It's going to be worth it. Louder than I expected. Into something like that. So I gotta look towards the future right now. Assembling the cake, if we get there. She's calling for 1 cup of flaked, shaved, slivered, or chopped blanched almonds that have been toasted. Since this is my cake and I'm decorating myself, I would like to do this my way. And I have a vision in my head of how I want it to look. Didn't take that long, and I think I got it to exactly what I had in my head. I was thinking something like that. So a little coarse. We're moving on to the final piece of the puzzle here, which is the buttercream for the frosting and the filling. What we gotta start with is a creme anglaise, which I've made so many times before. It's just like this custard kind of thing that is fairly simple to make, and if you've made it once, you've made it 100 times. No, it's not true. It's easy to f up. 3/4 cup, 200 mils of milk, and it's cold milk. I need it to be hot milk. Cup of sugar, 6 egg yolks into my saucepan. Continue to beat for several minutes until the mixture is thick and pale yellow. Is that hot? Yes, it is. In a thin stream of droplets, beat in the hot milk, which is 3/4 cup. Droplets, Jamie, droplets. Once you've done that, you move it over to the stove. Moderate heat. Switch to a wooden spoon. You do not let this come to a simmer. It has to come to the point where it just thickens enough to coat the back of a spoon with a creamy layer. Okay, this has to come off the heat ASAP. Beat vigorously for a minute to cool it slightly. If you wish to continue with an electric mixer on a stand, yes, please. Scrape the custard into the mixing bowl. 3 sticks, 12 ounces of chilled butter that I cut into these slices that are like roughly 1/4 inch thick. Well, give or take. A couple pieces of this butter at a time. So I'm like a medium speed and I'm just adding it in. I don't know. Couple pieces at a time. Whoa! The heat of the custard is like melting the butter, right? I just do this until the butter's gone. It is a lot of butter. We know that though. So I just kept mixing that until it became smooth and glossy. It should look like a thick mayonnaise. Okay, I need to know what that tastes like. It tastes like butter. I'm gonna be using some dark rum today. You have the option between this or Kirsch. Or just coffee, if you want to use coffee. But no, I'm opting for the rum, of course. 3 tablespoons of rum. It's gonna be around 3.5. Teaspoon of vanilla extract. You just get this beat in. Okay, stop before it becomes grainy, as she says. Has it become grainy? It has. So I'm gonna add in a little more butter. It's gonna smooth it out. I mean, there's other things in here, but I tasted it and it's just butter. It just tastes like butter. It looks like butter too. There's gotta be more to it, right? 2 ounces of unsweetened chocolate. Just gonna quickly melt that. Scrape the melted chocolate into a separate bowl here. 1/4 of this cream can go in here. Stir the smooth melted chocolate into it and reserve for the frosting on top of the cake. I'm gonna keep that in the fridge. Here's the ground up pralines, remember that? I need 1/2 cup worth. And you know what? Just because I think this needs a little extra oomph. There you go, another tablespoon. Stir that in really quickly. Thank you for your service. And this buttercream needs to have enough body that it holds its shape. The $1,000,000 question is, does the praline kind of like jazzercise it up a bit? I think it does. We need to chill this if necessary. I think it's necessary. With a small sharp knife, trim the meringue so that they'll line up. Actually, you know what? F it. Because that just broke with me trying to do that. Julia, why did you want me to do that? So those two pretty much match. I broke the tip trying to line this one up, so I think the idea is that the frosting or the icing will keep all of this together. Spread 1/3 of the praline buttercream over the meringue on the cake rack. And repeat. All right, so we're spreading the filling on top of each meringue layer. You're so talkative when I'm over there, but if I'm over here, spreading the final bit of the praline buttercream on top of everything. Shut the hell up. So I'm gonna put this in the fridge so that it can chill as it is now. Fridge, how do you like me now? During moments like this where there's some downtime, I go back to this buttercream recipe and I check. Double check, triple check, quadruple check that I used the right amount of butter in it. She says 3 to 3.5 sticks, 12 to 14 ounces. I ended up using 12 ounces, but it started to look a little grainy, so I added another 1/2 ounce. 12.5 ounces in total, let's say. Well, that's still under what she was recommending, and I don't know, there's something funny going on with it. All right, so I have my chocolate frosting. The crushed up almonds from earlier, remember in the food processor, it was really loud. Spread the chocolate flavored buttercream as evenly as possible on top of the cake. Balancing this on the palm of my hand, or I just leave it on the rack. Brush almonds against the sides of this thing. Come on, stick to the sides, you punk. There you go. All right, let's take a second to breathe, get it into the fridge. That's a perfect fit. Note to self, I need one of those cake stands, the cake plates, whatever they're called. Put it on the wish list. For now, order up. I mean, I like this cake. It came together in the end, which is surprising because having some of the components on their own had me worried. I've never had a filling that just was basically just straight up butter, more or less. You know, there were slight tastes of creme anglaise in there and the rum and the vanilla and yada yada, but mainly it was butter, straight up butter. So I don't really get the filling. That being said, it all works in this cake, so I'm happy. There's nothing that stands out and says that it's, you know, it's not supposed to be in there. It all tastes great and it's like, you know, in harmony with each other. Best part of all of this is that chocolate frosting mixed together with those almonds. It's like you're eating like some sort of gourmet candy bar. It's beautiful. Consider it a success based on the shape of it alone. Le succès, le progrès, la dacquoise. This was Jamie and Julia. Bon appetit. Au revoir. You know, I got questions. I got so many questions about this cake, and there's not much of a digital footprint when it comes to this Julia Child recipe, so I'm just kind of like, I don't know, did I do this correctly? I hope so. The cake has a nice crunch to it, and it's got a prominent taste of almond all up in this thing. Was the meringue supposed to be softer, or did I do it correctly? I don't know. I'll never know. And since you haven't had a bite of this, I don't know. I don't think you can help me either. I'm sure someone will tell me what they think.